Hello, welcome to Getting Started with Peekapak for free users. In this webinar, we are going to focus on some of the Peekapak basics like onboarding, website features, and the structure of our units. My name is Morgan. I am a previous educator and a content creator for Peekapak. Today, I hope to answer a lot of your questions that you may have in order to make your experience with Peekapak seamless. This video is for our free users. If you are a pro user or a pro trial user, please see the description for a link to your Getting Started video. Peekapak is a social emotional learning curriculum for pre-K to 5th grade. We use engaging stories that are centered around a key social emotional learning skill, like self-regulation, gratitude, or perseverance. And our full program includes over 500 research-based lessons, home activities that can be sent directly to families through email, and a digital interactive learning game to bring our content to life. Our content works well as a distance learning tool, so we are eager to support communities who are currently facing that. And as a narrative and character-driven learning platform, we believe in the power of storytelling to help us identify, understand, and navigate our complex emotions. As a free user, you have access to one level of our content and all of our 10 stories. You are welcome to set up other groups of students under classroom settings and switch there between those groups. With Peekapak Pro, you can set up multiple groups to access and switch between various grade level lessons and storybooks. So to learn more about Peekapak Pro, please go ahead and again click that link in our description. Especially during these times, we believe that our stories and our characters can help us make sense of what is going on. I do want to quickly mention that we have partnered with Kahoot to host our exclusive COVID-19 content. So we kind of use our world of Peekaville to discuss how characters deal with the Pika flu. And so we encourage you to take a look at those lessons and those family activities on Kahoot. In this webinar, we are focusing on the Peekapak basics, so we will begin with logging in. If you log in on the home page, you can either use a Google Classroom account, a Clever account, or a standard email. Once you log in, it will take you to this home page here. So I want to point out a couple things on our home page. You can always get back to it by clicking the backpack, which will take you to our library. Again, that's kind of our central spot. If you scroll down here, you can see these are our 10 units and our 10 stories that are all focused around a social emotional learning skill. And if we scroll back up to the top, we can see you will have your name here, support, resources, and then this is because this is a free account, just a sample of one of our leveled groups, and this is just first grade that it's leveled at. As a note about our curriculum, we do anticipate that 5 units equals 1 year's worth of curriculum. So there are 10 units in total that we believe should take you about 2 years to get through, because we are anticipating about 1 lesson per week. So let's dive into one of our units. We'll click on self-regulation. It does go in order of what we recommend, but again, you know your classroom and your needs, and so you may go in any order. If you click on self-regulation, you can see with the free account that the 2nd through 12th lessons are locked, but you do have access always to the first lesson and the entire story. And again, this is a story-driven curriculum, so you always have access to that story. If we look at the self-regulation unit, we get a unit overview. Talks about why the skill is important. You can find out more here. We go through key vocabulary that will be centered on the story and the lessons. Learning objectives. We have books that we recommend that go along with this unit, standards that we hit, and then everyone will also have access to our posters that go along with each unit. If you go back up to the top here, you can see in the right corner is Read Story. If you click on this story, it will open you up into our unit story. So here you can see our characters. Every story centers around one character, and so self-regulation will center around our friend Leo the hedgehog. We found it really important to make a diverse set of students that are our class of students in Peekaville with a lot of diverse interests, and so students really identify with these characters. We can just see a little bit of a story so you can kind of get a preview into what this looks like with our illustrations. And this is pretty easy to post virtually, where you can, have it on a virtual meeting or to do it in the classroom. So if we hit the arrow back, we get taken to the beginning of the self-regulation unit. Free users also do have access to the first lesson. And so if we click on class, you can see there's an overview. All of our first lessons have a letter from the main character of that story. So we have a letter from Leo, which we can click on. You'll see what you will need for the class, and we don't have outside supplies that you need. It's all things that you can have in the classroom, and then we have our activities in PDF form as well. There's instruction to teachers. We always ground it in supporting research, and so that you can look more into kind of the why behind the lessons we created. Learning objectives, ELA standards, and then a little bit more in-depth talk about this lesson. It says, we've got mail. It's a letter from Leo the hedgehog. Let's read it together. You would open up the letter and read it as a class. We've seen teachers get really creative and have a mailbox that's specially reserved for Peekapak mail. And we've seen students design these characters and bring stuffed animals that represent them. So you can get really creative with some of the engaging ways to tell these stories. We also always have accommodations and modifications, including an ELL section for our English language learner students. If we scroll back up here, we can click again on the backpack, and the backpack will take us back to the library. If you go on to the next unit, you can see here, we have the same unit overview, the first lesson, and then the story here. This is about berry ball, which is Peekaville's sport, which is all about collecting different types of berries. And it features Zoe, who's learning how to be respectful. That is a preview of some of the lessons and some of the overviews. I will briefly talk about, if you look here in the center of my Peekaville, this is a pro feature, which is a digital experience for children where they get to design their own avatar that looks like them and represents them, and then they get to practice the skills that we learn about in the units. So if we're doing a gratitude unit, they actually get to practice writing letters and being grateful and saying thanks to characters inside Peekaville with this digital learning experience. You're welcome to look into this more. We have some more information on this, and if you're interested in joining as a pro user, we also have a trial so that you can see the digital learning experience. If we look here at the top, we have a couple other tabs. The students and parents section is not necessary as a free user because children will not need to sign in. The sign in is for pro users with My Peekaville. And if you're curious, students don't log in through peekapak.com. Students log in through www.mypeekaville.com if you are going on to the digital learning experience. So this tab is not necessary for free users because it's more about the home to school connection when parents get sent emails, and then also that digital learning game. Classroom settings here, you can see this is a sample level. If you were a pro user, you would be able to toggle and switch between different grades for different lessons and different Lexiled books. And so that is kind of a basic overview of Peekapak. We are really excited to be continuously launching new curriculum. We also have a very active Twitter account, and so students often write to the characters and tag Peekapak and have their parents upload a photo of their letter, and then our characters always write back, which is a pretty special experience for students. And so it's a really inviting and welcoming world, and especially during this time, I think it's really important that children have a place to go and a place to express their feelings and feel safe. And now more than ever, we need to be noticed and naming how we're feeling, and starting to really think about social emotional learning on an everyday level. I hope I was able to answer some of your questions that you may have. We're excited for you to try it out, and please reach out to us if you have any questions. Thank you.